Welcome to Empowered Health. I'm really excited about today's show, Michelle.
Yeah, me too, VJ. Today, we're talking sports medicine, how critical it is to wear sunglasses, and how to pick out a good bed.
And later I'll get back in the kitchen with Chef Bell to cook up some coconut halibut. But first, another inspiring health profile. Meet Jennifer Mayberry.
The tendons holding my pelvis to my spine were so stretched out that my pelvis was really loose, and I would have these episodes where I just would throw out my low back quite frequently. I mean, all the massage therapy and chiropractor work in the world isn't going to help you because you can't heal those tendons.
In other words, ouch, and big time. For someone like Jennifer Mayberry, that means her level of physical activity came to a crashing halt. At one time, she was a competitive rower, and her strenuous workouts took a toll on her body.
So if you've got instability in your back, with that soft tissue, the ligaments being damaged, the muscles compensate and they tend to become very tense. So they're holding on and they're stabilizing the spine in lieu of the damaged ligaments. And that creates a lot of pain.
It's the kind of pain that robs you of movement. One treatment option is surgery. But here's where it gets complicated. Jennifer needed relief from the pain, but because her pain wasn't severe enough, she wasn't eligible for surgery. So for years, she had to live with it.
I was at an eco retreat a few years ago, and somebody there was talking about prolotherapy, and I'd never heard of it, and the way they were sort of describing it, it sounded like something that might be a possibility to sort of help me, and I'm basically willing to try anything.
Prolotherapy, or proliferation therapy, introduces an irritant solution into the body. This causes inflammation that serves as a stimulant to attract collagen-producing cells. The new collagen fiber that has been introduced to the injured tendon contracts over time and reestablishes the previously stretched ligament.
Sometimes you have to have surgery. You know, if you blow your ACL and you've got nothing attached, you're a surgical candidate. But there's times when surgery isn't an option or isn't the best option. And so in that case, you can do injection therapies and the healing time's way quicker.
4 years later, Jennifer can say that prolotherapy was the right choice.
I saw improvement almost right away. I mean, I came in for several treatments, and it got easier each time. I mean, I still have a lot of back issues. I have a lot of arthritis in my low back as a result, and a lot of stiffness, but the stability, I have not tweaked my back since I finished my prolotherapy sessions with her on my low back.
Coming up on Empowered Health.
Do white foods make you fat and lethargic? A lot of diet gurus would have you think so.
These days, there are so many things in our diets that we're told to cut out. Things to help maximize our health, our energy, and to shed the pounds. And of course, it's the fun stuff. White sugar, white flour, you know.
That's true, Michelle, and Randy Shore's back on the show to talk to us about what he calls white foods and digs into whether it's worth it avoiding them or not. Randy, take it away.
Do white foods make you fat and lethargic? A lot of diet gurus would have you think so. Eliminate white foods and watch the pounds melt away. White flour, sugar, salt, milk, rice, and potatoes are all on the avoid list. The Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, and the Zone are all based roughly on this premise. Every one of those foods is forbidden under the so-called Paleolithic diet. The premise being that grains like wheat are such a recent addition to the human diet that we're not physiologically equipped to consume them. Pancakes and pasta were simply not on the menu for cavemen. White foods are also commonly found, along with white-ish foods like corn and soy, in almost all modern convenience foods, what I like to call square foods. Square foods are just about anything in a package or with more than one ingredient. Apples have one ingredient. Cookies come from a box and are made mainly with those dreaded white foods. So are white foods addictive? Or simply cheap and tasty? Do they make you fat? Or did you do that yourself? When I put the question to UBC nutritionist Judy McLean, she laughed. Simply put, too many calories make you fat. If white foods made you fat, nearly everyone in South and East Asia would be obese. In some countries, white foods make up to 80% of a person's total calories. So why is this myth so persistent? Simply put, carb-reduced diets work, and they usually work fast by eliminating one of your body's main fuel sources, They also promote immediate water loss. But water or not, when pounds drop away quickly, people get excited. The extra protein and fat in these diets also help keep you feeling full. But you can get that same feeling of satiety with a high-fiber, low-calorie diet without the potential health risks of extreme low-carb diets. According to the Mayo Clinic, a diet high in meats and fats can increase your risk of cancer, heart disease, and kidney problems. And a McGill U of A study found that low-carb systems can greatly increase your blood cholesterol and may not be safe for people with type 2 diabetes. Despite their popularity, these diets are radical. Talk to your doctor before you try one. I'm Randy Shore for Empowered Health.
Your back affects your daily health. Welcome to another installment of Your Spine, Your Health.
Because you have a spine, it's important to understand what chiropractic care means to your health. Your health always starts with a regulatory college. In this case, the College of Chiropractors of BC serves to ensure you receive care from a qualified chiropractic doctor for appropriate diagnosis and treatment for today and tomorrow. That's also why BC's chiropractic doctors fund research and education. Today, I want to introduce you to Dr. Elna Munoz-Johnson, whose expertise includes sports performance and injury.
The skating stride is not a natural movement for the body, so we do develop little patterns in our body that aren't natural. So she knows about that, and she knows certain muscles that, you know, if you release, you're going to feel better.
The big difference for me in coming to see a chiropractor for a sports injury compared to just going to your family doctor is we specialize in human body. We specialize in how it functions and its biomechanics. And there's a reason why they have us on the sidelines, is because we do have that specialty. We can address those mechanical faults, we can address those traumatic injuries, we can address those muscle injuries in a way that other professions actually aren't able to. And that's why we've become such an integral part of on-field care for the actual professional athletes.
It really is important that if you really do have something, an issue in your body, that you need to get it addressed, because no matter what you're doing, you're constantly either re-injuring it or recreating the elements that caused the injury in the first place.
We look at the biomechanical fault. We look at the actual movement that's making this an issue. We look at weakness patterns that cause these injuries, and we address them much more efficiently than just taking care of symptoms or masking symptoms.
As you know, our sport is so physically based, and there's so much demands on the body, so to try to keep it in line is a huge part of performing at your best.
For athletes, a collaborative approach is needed. The chiropractic doctor, working with other practitioners, develops the appropriate treatment for each athlete and their injury.
The wonderful thing about working with a team is you've got all these different practitioners already working as a unit. So all it took was for them to really fully understand where I fit in that puzzle.
Your body feels so good when you leave here, and that's something that you kind of get used to, and I guess you look forward to. You know, hey, my body needs an adjustment here, and it needs to be worked on. So that's something I'm sure that will stay with you a long time.
As you can see, it's not just about what we're doing for you today. We're working to build a better tomorrow through better healthcare outcomes for you. The College of Chiropractors of BC sets the standards for safety, outcomes, and your informed consent.
Hey guys, this is Simple Fitness Tips. My name is Simona Marian and this is Jamison Ulf. Today we are going to show you how to strengthen and engage your inner core muscles to protect the spine.
Alright Simona, so let's go ahead and contract your core muscles. These are going to include your transverse abdominis as well as your multifidi, which lie on the spine. So I'm going to start with placing this stick on your back, and this is going to represent your neutral spine. You're going to start by taking a big breath, keeping your chest nice and high, and drawing your belly button towards your spine. Now, I'm going to get you to exhale and contract those muscles. Now, if you were to poke your own belly, it should be firm, right? Good. So, the level of contraction depends on how heavy you're lifting. If you're walking around from a scale from 1 to 10, you're looking at about maybe 1 or 2. If you're lifting heavy weights, you're looking at about 5 to 10. Awesome. So do this before any exercise, and we'll see you next episode.
Coming up on Empowered Health.
So at Sleep Shop, the biggest thing we do is a rest test. We have to find out what that customer's comfort level is going to be.
You're watching Empowered Health. We've talked about sleep a lot in the past episodes, but one of the main ingredients is, of course, your bed.
A bed is definitely an investment and can be costly. So we stopped by the Sleep Shop and talked to Farouk about what components make a good bed. Let's see what he had to say.
I'm joined now by Farouk Manji, sleep expert, bed expert. Today we're going to talk about what makes a good bed. It's not just one thing, is it? Like, what are some of the components to go into like a truly good bed that's going to give you the kind of sleep that you require? That's
a great question, Stu. There's a lot of components. Your main one is the support, and that can be support from foam layers underneath. It could be the different types of coils, and on top of that, it's what's built on top, the different comfort layers on top of the coils or the support foam that's on top, where you can have a variety of different things like latex, memory foam, natural components like wool and silk. All of those combined will give you the best type of support you need in a mattress.
So that top layer isn't about support, that's about comfort, is it?
Absolutely, all about comfort, to relieve those pressure points and that.
So when we go below that, though, you still need to give proper support. And there seem to be so many different types of supports these days. At one time it was just springs, but I guess they're only one option now.
Absolutely. That's over time, as the bedding industry has evolved, we've gone to newer and better types of coils. But now what you're starting to see is less coils and more foam cores. So you get latex cores, poly and soy foam cores that are providing the support. We're starting to see that those kind of beds will last longer. They won't sag as much as the regular coil types of beds do now.
What's the process that you need to go through to determine that this is going to be the right bed for you?
It's something we take through all our customers. So at Sleep Shop, the biggest thing we do is a rest test. We have to find out what that customer's comfort level is going to be. So whether they like it a little bit softer feeling or firmer feeling. And once we've identified that, then we'll take them to several beds that have that, maybe it's a medium firm feel or whatever.
When it comes to buying a bed, these days, you know, how long will that investment hold up before you might have to replace it?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Typically, we say a good bed will last anywhere from 8 to 10 years. One of the things people often go by is the warranty. So if it's a 10-year or 15 or 20-year warranty, they think, okay, my bed's going to last me that long. But no matter what the warranty says, don't go by that. We generally say a very good bed with the proper support and comfort layers should last you 8 to 10 years.
Well, thanks. That's very valuable information.
You're welcome.
We'll be back shortly. Did you know that your eyes are the only part of your body that do not have any natural protection? And that makes them extremely vulnerable, especially to harmful UV rays. Thankfully, sunglasses were invented.
So UV or ultraviolet rays are what we all know because it causes burns on the skin, can cause skin cancer, can cause cancer on the eyelids, can cause growths on the whites of the eye, can stimulate the formation of cataracts, which causes you to lose vision, and can even stimulate or damage the back part of the eye and cause or contribute to macular degeneration.
We all need to be careful, but people with light-colored eyes need to be extra careful when it comes to the sun. That's because they don't have as much pigment in their eyes, and that lack of pigmentation makes it more difficult to absorb UV. So what do? Well, start by wearing a hat with a brim. It's good for your eyes, and it's good for the skin on your face, but that's just the start.
As you have a brim, it's going to block rays coming from the sun, if the sun especially is in its highest position in the sky. However, what it won't do is protect you from reflected light or reflected glare. So surfaces like the road, pavement, water, snow will reflect not only glare, which is something that you have to consider with sun protection as well, but those invisible harmful UV rays will certainly intensify.
In other words, you need sunglasses. But not just any sunglasses. You need lenses that protect your eyes from harmful UV and blue light. Here are a few things to keep in mind. Look for 100% UV protection. check for blue light protection to protect the back of the eye, which allows you to see more clearly. Ensure that they're polarized to reduce glare. You're going to want to have an anti-reflection coating, but you may not realize that this must be applied to the back of the lens where your eyes are under attack from above and behind. You want to make sure you've got the right level and color of tint. You want ophthalmic quality lenses that are strong and safe for all of your activities. And you're going to want to make sure that they have a comfortable fit and wrap so that when you wear them, they stay in place.
We know you've got sunglasses that are providing substandard UV protection, and then I see changes in the eye, early changes, you know, thickening to the whites of the eyes, anything that is showing that UV is a factor, then we're going to understand, we're going to be able to connect the dots.
The only way to really know if your sunglasses are protecting you is to take them to an eye care professional and have them tested. After the break.
I have a fantastic recipe. So it's a fish with green pea sauce.
Okay.
So here I am using cod, but you can use halibut, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
But the key is what to do once you have the fish.
Right.
This cooking and nutrition portion brought to you by Save On Foods.
We're here for another exciting cooking segment with chef, author, and TV host Belle the Spice Goddess, who's going to share another awesome recipe with us today. Belle, welcome to Empowered Health.
Well, thank you for coming to my kitchen. I have a fantastic recipe.
Okay.
So it's a fish with pea sauce, green pea sauce.
Okay.
So here I am using cod, but you can use halibut, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
But the key is what to do once you have the fish.
Right.
So here I have this beautiful spices. I have cumin powder. So I'm just going to sprinkle some cumin powder here.
Okay.
And then some coriander powder. And then paprika is going to give a really nice crust, beautiful color, and just a teeny bit heat to it.
Yeah.
And just a wee bit salt.
Okay.
And here on my pan for medium heat, I have just a teeny bit butter, but then oil.
Okay.
And then we're just going to cook our fish in it. So I'm just
Absolutely.
taking my fish here.
Okay, and you know,
Just gonna...
yeah, put it in the spices. Make sure you get it nice and evenly.
All right, so let's just gently place this in.
For someone who likes it more spicy, they could add more chili to it.
Absolutely, more
Yeah.
paprika, more cumin. So the best thing about this dish is that while fish is being cooked on the side,
Right.
we can do our sauce right here. If you could please help me start the sauce, that would be fabulous.
What's the first thing that I do?
First thing, you're going to add some oil to it.
Okay.
Then 2 or 3 tablespoons of oil. Just dump the whole thing in. Just
Okay.
trust me, it is 2 or 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
And now this is the time to have fun. So here's my onions gonna go in.
Okay. So that's just half the onion so far.
It's just half the onion. That's all we're gonna do. And a little bit of ginger. So
Okay.
tablespoon of ginger. Doesn't really matter how thick this is because this is all going to go in a processor, and I'm
Okay.
gonna puree the sauce.
Okay.
It's gonna look
Absolutely. All
really
right.
pretty. And I have a tablespoon of coriander seeds.
Did you grind it?
I just did. I was just doing it earlier.
Okay.
You know what I love about the cumin? Sorry, coriander. This is coriander seed. It has a really nice citrusy flavor.
Right.
It goes beautiful with the fish.
All right.
And our fish is looking fabulous.
And we use some coriander powder as our
did.
seasoning for the fish
We
as
did,
well.
Yes.
Okay.
So here a teaspoon of mustard seeds. Mustard seeds gonna if the mustard seeds are dark, they really have much strong pungent flavor, but the lighter one are really much milder. Then but paprika to give a really nice color and a heat, and then a little bit salt.
Salt. Perfect.
Yeah. And look at the beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, smell the color.
Just that sizzle.
It's heaven, heaven, heaven. So I'm just gonna add this is a cup and a half or 2 cups of peas,
Right.
frozen peas. Right?
Right.
So I'm just gonna have it for another 30 seconds, and I'm gonna add my
That's
coconut milk to it.
coconut milk.
Coconut milk is gonna give us really nice
Wow.
sauce.
Yep.
And now, gently. Ooh,
Oh, awesome.
flaky,
Yes.
It's really nice and flaky. So you just turn this off.
Okay.
The fish is looking fabulous.
It
Look
is.
how gorgeous its colors are. Okay, so here I'm gonna have all these flavors gonna come in.
So just a quick question.
Yes.
How did you know when to stop the heat on this?
Well, 3 to 5 minutes. Coconut milk doesn't take that long to cook. Okay.
Give it a blend and
How beautiful this is. So here's our sauce.
wow, that looks amazing, Belle.
How
Wow.
beautiful is this? So let me see if I can describe. Maybe possibly spatula. Reach in.
And the amazing thing is it's also quick.
Yeah, absolutely. When I'm adding some paprika
Nice.
to give a really nice color. And how
Oh, beautiful.
is this?
That looks
How
beautiful.
beautiful is that?
Oh, Belle, this is amazing.
This is so good.
Oh, the fish, the coconut milk, the peas, all the spices, the lime. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
We just need some wine now.
Absolutely. Well, you can find out more about this recipe in today's Vancouver Sun or online at vancouversun.com/empoweredhealth. Belle, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff. Being on the West Coast, we are lucky to have access to a great variety of fish. And today, our registered dietitian Melissa LeBlanc is here to tell us about how we can enjoy fish at home even more. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vijay.
So it's said that we should have fish about 2 to 3 times a week, right?
That's right.
What makes it so good?
Well, fish is a great source of a lean protein, and depending on what type of fish you choose, it can be a great source of omega-3 fatty acids, which is great for the heart and good for brain development in early age.
Lots of goodness right there. Melissa, I like to bake the fish I eat, but more often than not, I tend to overcook it. Any tips for how I can avoid that?
Absolutely. So cooking fish doesn't have to be complicated. A great rule of thumb when baking it is 10 minutes for every inch of thickness.
10 minutes for every inch of thickness.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'll remember that.
And to retain the moisture, try wrapping it in some parchment paper. When you seal it tightly, it cooks in its own steam.
Ah, that's a good idea. I also like fish and chips, but when we're talking about healthy food, it's not really the best option. Do you have any ideas for cooking it right at home, but in a healthier way?
Sure, it just depends on what types of dressing that you use. So try a breadcrumb or gluten-free breadcrumb mix. You can try quinoa or crushed nuts to add some good texture.
And what about seasoning the fish?
Well, something that goes really well with fish is dill, lemon, lime, and a good crack of black pepper. It's simple, it's delicious, you can't go wrong.
Well, that's some great information, Melissa, and I know what I'm having for dinner tonight. Thanks for being on the show.
You're very welcome.
That's it for this episode of Empowered Health. And you know, Vijay, I learned something. With apologies to ZZ Top, I'm no longer going to wear cheap sunglasses.
And you know what? I'm going to wear my sunglasses at night.
Oh, okay, no more rock and roll references.
For more information on any of the stories you saw today, visit the Vancouver Sun website.